One of my favorite things with this EP, and sort of what makes it a project in many ways, is the artwork, man. Shout out to Jaydeep, he killed it.
You did a fantastic job. I mean, I couldn't have even imagined anything better, honestly.
I remember taking that photograph, the photograph that only made it for Maybe It's Winter by chance, because that song wasn't supposed to be on here. I don't know where the vision came from, but I remember just wanting my face on something for the first time, because I'm a shy dude, and I didn't want to be associated like visually to my work. And at a certain point, I don't know, I just had the feeling like I want to represent this.
And I think it's hard for a lot of people to understand like why you wouldn't want your face on a word.
I mean, a lot of the times when I do want it, and like I know they make jokes, they're like, oh, you're so egotistical, you just wanted your face on it. But look how many people do that shit. Like,
yeah, no, exactly.
From The Weeknd to Charlie Puth to like fucking all those 80s bands who just had a picture of them on the cover. In many ways, wouldn't a concept of maybe the themes of your album or metaphors you go through have better meaning than your face on an EP?
Mm-hmm.
And I think in that sense, we really hit home on two bases, because it represents the story in many ways of what's going on. Because I remember when we had to go through all the things that would cover the eyes per song, we were really racking our brain, man.
Oh yeah.
We were like, what's going to be on the back? What's going to be on the eyes? Like, this is under Wezl, and you may not be as known to be part of the project. Obviously, like, you're 50% of this whole thing. But that's why I really wanted your name tattooed on my face.
Yeah, I'm kind of the shadow figure of Wezl in a way, you know.
Because with all the other songs, it's more casual. I can throw your name in, and I love doing that. To like sort of put in your tagline.
Yeah.
And with this one, it was visually more appropriate. But I remember with Roses that I was at Daniel's house. Daniel from Teacher's Pet. We had a lot of fun. He made me look really sad. He's like, come on, like really get that emotion out. We got the photo. I sent it to JD. And we started working on Roses, and that was the first one. Again, we didn't know it was going to be an EP. I don't know when we decided that, but when that was decided, I know when we got to Weather Street, we were like, what are we going to do now? We have Is It You, Is It Me and Roses, but we don't know what the fuck the cover is going to be. For Weather Street, like, and I was like, weathered, rain, maybe you can make it sort of statuesque. But we wanted to cover those eyes because that's kind of like a strong symbolistic thing.
Yeah.
One of the things that people don't like about Roses is that they thought my eyes were gouged out.
Yeah.
That it was blood. Like, yo, I'm not a zombie over here. They're roses. And the scratches on my face are from running through the roses. So I like how that sort of came together. You got my face, but you also have the story of the song. And that was really difficult to do, to conceptualize. And do the amount of back and forths between Jaydeep and myself and you and back.
It was insane. I'd sit in rush hour traffic in LA for hours just racking my brain and sending you just any ideas I had, and then we try something and we didn't like it, have to go back, and it's just this big massive kind of chain of ideas that never really stopped, but until we got exactly what we wanted, I think.
But it turned out like super good.
Fantastic. I'm very glad we spent as much time as we did on the art, because I feel like that really ties everything together. Because
I think Is It You, Is It Me fits. It's got that darkness, it's got that light, it's got that sort of like black and white vibe that really fits the song, in the sense of like, what is this? Yeah,
and I also think it's more of a personal EP, if you will. I feel like a lot of the other Wezl songs, it would be kind of hard to fit your face or like any of like my face onto a song or an EP in general. But I think because this EP was so kind of personal experience and kind of revolved around that, it wasn't too much kind of existential stuff. I think the decision to put your face on it kind of gave it a little more, I don't think personality is the right word, but it's like you could attribute it to someone. It gave it a human aspect. It's like, there's a human on the other side of this.
Yeah, because I mean, if you take a song like Space Cake, like how many humans have done Space Cake? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're never going to be like, ooh, I relate to that. You're going to be like, oh, funny dude, I also had a trip once. But it's not like, oh shit, you shared those feelings with me in that trip or anything like that. Yeah.
And I feel like having your face on the cover really gives people like a personal connection that they can latch onto. So that they can almost feel like they know you in a sense.
Yeah.
I always thought that was an interesting thing with like really well written albums or EPs, it's like by the end of listening to them, you feel like you know the artist on a personal level.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Or like when you say, "Oh my God, this song's totally about me."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, and me as well. Yeah, and then Weather Street, that was a difficult one because by the time we did Roses and Is It You and Me, we'd run out of ideas.
Completely, yeah. We
were dry.
We'd run ourselves dry completely.
And so the Butterfly saved us. And then we came to C4F, and I'm running through these lyrics, like, what is it here that's gonna jump out at me and say, hey, you can use me, cover those eyes. Because I was like, dude, we have a theme now.
Yeah.
We have to stick to this theme. And that was one of the difficult things that we didn't do with Winter. And I think that Blur just works.
I think the fact that Winter is kind of a little more realistic in terms of it's not kind of drawn up and it's blurred and it has a more raw aspect to it, you know?
I think in all senses it's authentic.
Yeah, 100%. That cover art, in terms of how it fits in the dynamic, makes the strongest statement of what the song is. You know, It's kind of like you have all these songs where there's a bunch of instrumentation and production going on, and then all of a sudden it's just you and a guitar, you know?
Yeah.
And like that, having just your face in a picture form really kind of just grabs people by the collar and just kind of says, it's just you and me now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like you really can develop a more personal connection with you, I feel like.
Again, one of the reasons why I didn't want to release it. I was like, dude, I want to put it as a B-side to Roses.